mouth tastes like what?
Hobo.
A hobo.
What the fuck does a hobo taste like?
Well, like licorice, mint, and beer.
Is that like the littlest hobo? Do you remember that littlest
There's
hobo?
a voice.
That's the one.
Calling me down the road. And we're live. Good evening, welcome to Vape Talk UK, episode 137. So you want to be a vape star? How long were we actually live for?
I know.
A minute.
I know you definitely started singing during the time we were live. You went live, as I said, tastes like a hobo.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
Yeah. Something like that.
I really missed the Littlest Hobo. How awesome was that show?
Oh, it's amazing.
Little ambushes with when I press the go live button, and so far people seem to be getting away with it. Actually, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself.
You want everyone to do a Riyadh?
Oh yeah, that came up again on the internet earlier, didn't it?
I saw it. That's what made me think of it.
Which Riyadh? There's so many. The one that he went back and edited the video of.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah.
The N-bomb.
Yeah, the one where he was talking about ninjas.
God, we were talking about Tim Beards a minute ago. Look at Mark's tash.
Mine.
It's mighty, isn't it?
It looks like Yosemite Sam.
Fucking amazing. I've just got mine to the point now where I can curl the ends if I want to look like a proper cunt.
There we go. Just,
Oh my god, that's
I need to get some wax on it.
That looks like some dodgy weekends I've had.
that looks like those apps where it morphs the picture.
Snapchat filters.
That's the one.
That's called Snapchat. Chandler will download it in 2022.
Oh my god. Look at this. Look at this. This is what living with Reesa Hughes is like. Cheesecake and Coke Zero delivered to the desk.
Chandler, can I just ask, do you still whack it to paperbacks?
Thanks, love.
Do I still what?
Do you still have a wank to paperbacks?
And now depends on the paperback.
Still using magazines. He hasn't learned.
To be fair, Chris, with how you've been going on about Ready Player One recently, it sounds like you still wank to paperbacks as well.
I do a bit. I'm on about Chandler being behind with the times. He's not realised that porn's now free on the internet.
Honestly, those of you that are friends with me on Facebook will have seen I put a post up last Sunday, I think it was, about Ready Player One, and everyone was going on about it. Everyone was talking about it, and Chris convinced me to download it, and I became I just spent my whole life either in the car driving the long way home, just so I got a little bit of extra time, or sitting in the bath with headphones on. And I find it really foreign. Can't any of you guys listen to
the bath and headphones?
It's all right. They're Bluetooth. It's all good.
Okay, so it's not like a toaster or anything.
No. I tend to save wearing toasters for the shower.
Did you say wearing toasters? Like
well,
wearing it on a giant gold chain.
Oh man! Trouble is, a toaster as a necklace would probably fit you quite nicely. It just looked like a normal sized pendant.
Is it no?
Yeah.
You get me. Anyway, any of you listen to an audiobook?
Yes, loads of them, like hundreds of hours worth.
Yes, but remember, Mark, not all of them are read by Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton?
Mm-hmm.
Will Wheaton? What's his name from Star Trek?
Yeah, Wesley Crusher from STTNG. Yeah,
Yeah.
He read Ready Player One audiobook.
Will Wheaton.
Oh
You
man!
see, I found it a little bit foreign for a start. Listening to a book? Can any of you multitask? Can any of you do anything else whilst listening to a book?
Absolutely not. I can't look at my phone.
I can't.
It's bad. It's bad, right? Because I can't look at my phone or have a conversation or draw a picture or play a game or whatever. But I can drive and listen.
I can drive and listen.
Yeah.
I sat at work the other day. And I was just doing shit. And I got Ready Player One going on in the background. I must have listened an hour and a half, and I hadn't got a fucking clue what was going on. I completely missed an hour and a half.
problem I find is if I'm listening to something and I start trying to pay attention to anything else, the sound just disappears out of my ears. It's as if it's not there.
And our parrot has learned how to communicate with Alexa.
Oh, you're joking.
So I walk into the front room and Ready Player One's playing. And the parrot sat there having a conversation with Phil Freeton.
It's funny because I came home the other day and the kid must have said something that sounded like that. And a book that I was listening to, I had about 4 hours left on it. He'd obviously said it and then gone out with his mum. And I come home and it was just at the fucking end. So I walked in and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it literally told me the end of the story. I was fucking fuming.
Yeah, I bet.
Sorry, I'm distracted now. I was trying to concentrate on the audio from the show, but I was distracted by cheesecake. I'll be back in a minute.
Mate, she makes a fucking lovely cheesecake, I tell you.
Cheesecake.
Just had it as Chris gone for cheesecake now.
He probably has.
For cheesecake. Hang on. I'm waiting for Stu to disappear now. I'm waiting to be still.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was just about to check my messages to see who we're taking the fucking name of this week.
No stitch up.
No. It's fine. It's fine. They'll both come back when they've got cheesecake.
So we'll go alone, shall we?
Yeah, why not? Is that Lindsay? It sounded like Chandler. Yeah, Chandler sneezes like a girl.
or Lindsay sneezes like a man.
Try it.
She hits like a man, I'm told.
So what, you vaping on, Stu?
I am vaping on my Rose 3 Pylon SX350.
How are you getting on with the Rose?
Sorry?
How are you getting on with the Rose?
It's a bit of a leaky cunt. Not going to lie, but I think I've got to be honest. I think I'm probably a bit shit at wicking it. I think I need to just wick it a few, because the thing is, if I'm mouth to lung, I'll probably only wick it once a week, and I've had it now for about 2.5 weeks, so I've wicked it maybe twice. You know, I think as I get better at wicking it, it will probably get better at not leaking.
What size coils you running?
I've got a 2.5 ID 7 wrap 26 gauge Camfo in there for about an ohm.
With 2.5mm coils, you're kind of limited to your wick, aren't you? Got quite a slim amount, and if you take a big drag, I'm exactly the same with this piece of shit. Running 2.5mm, you take big drags, you're on the edge, and if you take a second,
yeah. But then the problem is I like quite a hot mouth to lung, and if you put a 3mm coil in there, you're adding more resistance, and on something like an SX, it's not really how you set it up. I think I've about got the sweet spot for it. I just need like a hair more wick just so it stops leaking. The flavour's fucking cracking. Worth every penny in flavour.
I remember on the Chris, what have you just run a pizza?
Cheesecake.
Leftover pancake.
At least put some cheese on it.
On a pancake?
I put maple syrup on it, but it's all run off now. As I was walking back to the shed.
How was my pancake recipe, Chris?
It was alright. I did fuck with it though.
Of course you did.
Did you put chili in it?
So thick. By the time it actually cooked the inside, the bottom was burnt.
So you let it down a little bit.
So I added milk and thinned it out a bit, and it was banging.
So you remember that part where I said you might have to let it down a little bit?
Like when I said to you 3 times, I need to put more milk in this. You're like, nah, test it.
Yeah, of course, test it. Anyway, in that, I've got Pinkman from Vampire Vapes, 18mg.
Fucking hell.
Pinkman! Wow, that's a bit of a blast from the past.
Yeah, man, Pinkman.
Yeah.
And then I've got something new, and I was going to say, I'm not sure I've made my mind up on it, but I actually think I have, and I think it's actually kind of good news. I picked up one of these Aspire Revo tanks.
Ooh.
With a disc coil.
Yeah.
It's not shit.
One of my colleagues at work has just bought one of those with I now can't remember the name of the mod. It's got a rounded look to it, and the
sky.
That's the one.
Sandra,
something.
you've got
Yeah,
a bracelet on that says weird.
I've got what?
Does your bracelet say weirdo?
It says Weirdo Mosher Freak.
Which is why I called him a weirdo the other day on.
Oh.
It's one of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation slogan.
Ah.
There you go. I'll take it off and you can see it better. There you go. And I'll rotate it. If I rotate it in the right direction.
Bracelet Talk UK.
Oh, yes. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I've had that ages. I got that from Whitby.
Yeah, Reese just bought one of them, and it's really big on her, so she doesn't wear it.
It's quite a big. It's twice, 3 times the size of a normal one.
Yeah.
So I quite like the bigger one. Plus the fact that my normal size one snapped, which was really depressing.
On your other arm, have you got 2 shag bands back to back?
No, I put
No,
my watch. I put my watch on the other day. You probably can't see it. I've got a red mark on here. I put my watch on and my wrist. My wrist is suddenly just. Yeah, I am right pale. Look at that. Look at that. No sun has been anywhere near that arm. But yeah, my skin all blistered up. I'm just blistered.
Did you buy a market from a dodgy man at the side of the road?
No, it's a guess watch. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't an expensive one, but it wasn't a cheap one either.
Guess what I've rubbed against this watch before you bought it?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
back to the plot. Go on then. We were talking about the tank.
This Revo thing. I genuinely bought it because I expected it to be shit, and I kind of wanted to know for myself because a lot of people were giving it quite good reviews. It uses a flat coil head. Do you see that? It's kind of like a stovetop, and you tend to get juice sat on top of it, and I don't want the juice to drip off, but it's going to anyway. But it's basically like a stovetop coil.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And then that little valve in the middle is where you fill through. That little thing right there. And it actually, for one, it makes it pretty much leak-proof because the juice all sits underneath the coil and it can only get out by going through the coil. So if you tip it, it doesn't leak, it just wicks. But it's also obviously dead easy to fill because it's just got that little clutch at the top of it in the middle of the thing. You literally just put your juice bottle in there like that, and you press down, and juice happens in the bottom of your tank. You see that going up?
Oh yeah, awesome.
So for people that drive, that's a really nice little filling system for a little wanky tanky.
Although I wouldn't recommend trying to refill your tank while driving.
I mean, if you drive and you haven't filled the tank before you get in the car, you deserve to run out of juice.
Yeah. We live in a world where most tanks are 2 mil and a lot of car journeys are more than 3 seconds long. So, you know. But
Quite good for your fag break, though, by the way, because, you know, you don't want to be wasting your 15-minute fag break filling it up. No.
I don't really know what to say about it. Like, the flavour is better than a lot of sub-ohm tanks. I would like the vapor.
That's not a massive thing to achieve, though.
Well, the thing is, you know as well as I do, there's like a million sub-ohm tanks in the world where you'll say, oh yeah, the flavour's good enough, I'll accept it. You know, for the convenience of a sub-ohm tank, fair enough, it'll do. But you know that the flavour isn't good. That, I would actually class the flavour as good. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say, fuck me, I was bowled away by it. But I would definitely say that, you know, that is better than your average sub-ohm tank for flavour. Which I think that's a pretty big deal, to be honest. The coils last fucking ages. And they're not expensive.
How long fucking ages?
Well, I had a customer that bought one of these when they came out, 3 weeks ago they came out, 4 weeks ago, something like that. And he bought a 3-pack of coils and still hasn't gone through them. And you and I both know a sub-ohm tank, if the coils last more than 3 or 4 days at the moment, you're doing well.
You're doing well.
What do they cost for a coil?
£8 for 3. Not terrible. And because of the way the coils are put together, you can re-cotton them yourself. You can actually put your own cotton back into them.
Really?
Yeah, you can burn them off and re-cotton them.
Bloody hell.
So
how much is the tank? That's the killer question.
28 quid, something like that.
So it's a sub 30 quid tank.
Yeah. It's honestly got a lot going for it. I actually think it's all right.
Chandler, can you just type 1 in the chat for me, please?
Type 1 in the chat. What's the question?
It's actually got a lot going for it. I actually think it's all right.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to get the
but yeah, from what I can see at the minute, the coils last for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Shit.
Sub-ohm tank coils is fucking mega. You know, we haven't had a sub-ohm tank where you could do 2 weeks off a coil since like the Kanga.
Nah, the Atlantis, I think.
Wasn't the Kanga sub tank before the Atlantis?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the sub tank you couldn't get 2 weeks out of.
I feel like I've just been put on the naughty step.
Yeah, you are on the naughty step.
I am on the naughty step.
Yeah. The sub tank's been out longer than the Atlantis.
Kev says you can re-cotton them, but don't, because it only lasts a day after re-wicking them. I'll try it and find out. Because at the end of the day, even if re-cottoning them gets you an extra day out of your coil, it's an extra day. Cotton costs fuck all. But yes, in that I've got Danish from Future Juice. If none of you have heard of Future Juice, really impressive little budget baller juice line. It's like 13 quid for 50 ml. You know, very wallet friendly. 13 quid for 50 ml. Yeah, very wallet friendly, and it's nice juice. He sent me all of the desserts in his line because he knows I'm a dessert vapor, which totaled 5 bottles of juice. And there's not one of them that I think is bad. There's some that I prefer over others, but yeah, worth a go. Worth a go. Who's next? Who wants to go next? Chandler.
Hello.
Chandler, what are you vaping on this week?
Oh, the usual exciting stuff. There we go. I've gone for my squonker. I rediscovered my squonker. Having been vaping my tank with the Infiniome, my squonker's been sat on the side, and the contacts corroded a bit, so it wasn't contacting very well. So I've stripped it, polished everything, put it all back together again, and it vapes like a charm. So yeah, if your squonker's not quite working, if you've got a mech squonker, don't forget to polish your contacts. There you go. With the Entheon on top, and I've got inside. That's not it. Where is it? Yeah, the traditional. I'm still on the cookie dough ice cream. It's just my my unicorn juice at the moment. That is the cookie dough ice cream's amazing. I have got quite a lot left because I've bought a new bottle.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I needed some more.
Well, that'll be in the vaping headlines this week. Vape Talk UK host buys juice for a change.
I bought it. I bought a bottle. Yeah, and I've still got the Infiniome box with the Serpent SMM on top. And in there, where have I put the bottle of that? Whoops, there you go. Pointed to the camera. Does help. I've put a Keener oil in because I just love the pears. There you go.
All about the pears.
All about the pears. So that's what I'm vaping on at the moment. There you go. Chris. What you got? Who's exciting?
Nothing.
Like a Quavers.
Billy box. I changed the panels out. I put this little funky button in and a hybrid drip tip and just went all black for a change. I was getting dirt on my orange panels and I really like them, so I thought I'd change it out a bit. I actually changed it all last week for the Pandora one, didn't I? I decided to go all black and get it back in the case because I was worried about damaging it.
Why don't you just get a set of stainless steel panels made, have them etched with Pandora logos, and then have them powder coated black?
I had some Damascus steel ones, but they're just too
Yeah, but
heavy.
that's very expensive to etch and powder coat.
I'm not bothered about that. It's the fact that they're really fucking heavy. Like the doors that come on it are made out of like carbon fiber or similar, and then you've got the Chrynite doors which are light. You've got plastic doors which are light. It's not that light to start with. Do you know what I mean? Add in fucking 3.5 pounds of.
Is Max still stuck in JB's shed?
Yes, and I think that we should.
He does say Aerobot, doesn't he?
Hang on. I would normally have replied to this in chat, but Badger's fucking put me in timeout. Schwartzy, what are you on about? I got here from the early 1980s. What? I didn't drive up in a DeLorean or anything like that. Sorry.
And even if he has, the 80s was a fucking great era.
Awesome.
I think he's referring to the undercut and the weird scarf.
Oh, and the weird. I have still got the weird scarf on, haven't I? Yeah.
I like the
It's
weird
not weird.
I like the weird scarf. Shine on you, crazy diamond.
They're the sort of things that the 1980s Bloods and Crips used to have in their back pockets.
I've got it around my neck to keep me warm because it's fucking cold.
Use that big towel that's behind you. That will keep you warm.
You can't leave that towel alone.
There you go.
It's the fact that when his like a couple of weeks ago when it first went out, his camera was a bit blurry. I thought it was like a special sheet. And then last week, the camera actually focused on it, and I realized it was just a bath towel.
It's literally a fleece that's hanging on the wall. That's it.
I'm just jealous because I think that would actually fit around me as a bath towel.
It probably would. It's a nice big one.
Yeah, I like it. Where'd you get it?
Where did I get it from? Hang on.
Roll it off an ex-washing line.
No, Dunelm Mill. There you are.
Oh, yes. We like a bit of Dunelm.
It's a hemo fleece. This came from Dunelm Mill.
Would it help? Would it dry you after a bath?
No, it's a fleece. It's a fleece blanket. It's not a towel.
Looks like a towel.
Chandler kind of looks like the guy from Hackers. Which one? You're on about serial killer? Because he doesn't.
From Hackers. I can't say I've seen Hackers.
You never seen Hackers? It's what's his name? Him who plays Sick Boy in
Trainspotting.
Yeah, him who plays Sick Boy. What's his name? Johnny Lee Miller. It's him and Angelina Jolie, unknowns, and it's set in like the early 90s, and they're all computer hackers. And it's actually a fucking amazing film. It's really, really good. It's one of my faves.
Okay.
Johnny Lee Miller, yeah.
I'll go with
you
that.
don't look anything like the guy from that film. You look nothing like him.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. He's got all like little plaits in his hair and stuff. He has got undercut hair though.
I did have plaits in my hair at one point. I might dig out that photo and put it in the.
For fuck's sake, I'm trying to help you here.
I know you're trying to help me. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I actually was alive in the 80s, so you know.
So was I.
Just.
What about you? What about Chandler? You were going through your 20s in the 80s.
Yeah, fuck off.
Chris is a baby.
I went to university in '91. There you go. That's my first year at uni.
Chris was born in the 90s, weren't you?
I was born 1990.
You were born in 1990. That was when I was doing my A levels.
I was born in the 70s. Damn, I feel old.
I was born in the mid 80s.
Yeah, I was born in the 90s.
I don't feel quite so old now, knowing that you were born in the 70s.
You've seen this in the chat.
I was only just born in the 70s, Chandler.
Only just. So you were born in '79 then.
Yeah.
Oh,
one of my ex-girlfriends was born in '79.
Chris, what are you doing?
What?
I'm trying to keep warm. I'd rather lie to myself than wear a gay scarf.
I love this, that all the chat are now writing the year they were born in.
Awesome.
This has turned out fantastic.
Mark Ski looks like he was born in 1994.
Hey, look, there's people that are older than me in there. Awesome.
2004, sorry, 2004. Mark Ski's is petite fella, isn't he?
Oh, dear.
Chris is at least 51. Cheers, mate.
91. That was the year I started high school.
Oh. 91, Risa. Oh, bless.
He's younger than I am.
Yeah,
You're doing well, Stu.
I know.
Always punching above your weight, mate.
I am very much aware that I'm punching. I don't need
How old are you, Stu?
She's 26.
How old are you?
33 nearly.
So when you were 9, she was born. When you were 16, she was 7.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Hang on, no, what?
What's wrong with that?
No, that's wrong.
Yeah. There's 7 years between us, not 9.
You said that she... Oh, yeah, sorry. Fucked up.
I worry about you sometimes, Chris. I genuinely do.
Quick maths. Quick maths.
She was still in primary. She was in primary school when you were left secondary school.
So there's
Yes.
Yeah.
5 years between me and Lindsay.
Yeah, but are you older?
I'm older, yeah.
You sure? She looks older.
When on the fingers come in.
You can't say that.
To be fair, I wouldn't be so sure about that. If Mark was stood holding her hand at the side of the road, he'd probably get handed a high-vis jacket.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but it shows how good Unique are, really, doesn't it? When she snaps on, she looks a bit younger than you.
Woman. She looks tiny down there.
She looks tiny everywhere.
Your Unique is very good, love.
She's sat next to you. Anyone looks tiny sat next to you.
That anti-aging lotion that is definitely from Poundland, but with a Unique sticker on, is definitely worth it. I'm joking.
You do realise, Chris, she's going to spoil your first dance.
Nothing can spoil it more than me dancing in my first dance. I can tell you that much.
We're super excited for the dinner and dancing.
Don't fucking start, mate.
Fucking hell. Badger's done it again.
I'm
Oh,
not
shit.
surprised, to be honest, mate.
Linz, I'll hold him back. You punch him.
Yeah.
Oh, you're both going to be there.
Yeah.
This could be interesting.
Yeah. I just had the exact same idea.
I've never been beaten up by 2 women at once before.
I have a love-hate relationship.
No, one's usually just enough, to be fair.
They don't usually need to call for backup, but
Yeah, no.
Anyway, what am I vaping on? Shall we move on? We've been going for the past half hour.
Do we even know what Chandler's vaping on?
yeah,
We did that.
Cookie dough. That's
Cookie
it. Right.
dough and a Keener oil in that one. There you go.
Yeah, you're fine. Carry on. Mark.
Honestly, tonight... Oh, fucking hell. So tonight, Matthew, I've got quite a few in my hand.
All right, how many can you get in your mouth at once? That's the question.
12.
find out.
Depends what club I'm at.
Have a guess in the chat how many mods Mark can take a puff of at the same time. What we'll do it. So you take a puff of 1, then a puff of 2, then a puff of 3 until you can't take any more.
Like chubby bunnies with mods.
Yeah, I reckon you're going to max out at 4.5 if you get Lindsay to hold another one for you.
I think he's going to run out of fingers to press buttons before he runs out of mouth space for mods.
That's why I said 4 with Lindsay's help.
So I'm going to put down the ones I'm not actually vaping on. First one, I'm vaping on the Trillium.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't like the Trillium. I really didn't. I put in an, what was it, an Atlantis 0.5 coil.
They were always pretty good.
Vaping on Lemon Crack. Now it's steeped a little bit. Running at 40 watts on. I've not moaned about this for ages. Stupid fucking swipey screen thing. Oh, it worked. Look at that. quite enjoying it. I've got about a quarter airflow.
What did you run it at?
40.
40? I used to run the 0.5 at. I used to run the 0.5 at 25 watts, and it was bang on.
40 is about where you can get it without it tasting dry.
Yeah.
I've quite enjoyed it.
Right, so come on, you've taken a puff of one. Now let's try two.
Oh, what? Still in? All right, here we go.
No, at the same time, you sausage.
Oh,
You got to try and get more. That's what I'm saying.
hang on, 3. Hang on, I can't fucking see.
We've got bets on up to 8.
8? You shit a bit, yeah. It's getting them all at the same level.
Lindsay will have to help you.
Babe, can you push my button? That was up.
Go for 4. Come on, because I've got bets on 4.
4.
It's nice to see that we are a responsible vape show, you know.
Shit. Yeah, redrip it.
Come on,
Remember, Chandler, you can't put a price on entertainment.
Right, so you're going to have to press 2 buttons now. I'm not sure.
You talked her through that like she was like you were teaching a kid how to butter bread for the first time.
Yeah.
I can't do this. My
Yeah, you
mouth
can.
is big enough. My mouth is not big enough for 4.
Put your mouth round it.
I can't do it. Genuinely, 3 is my maximum.
Do it how you had 3 and then get Lindsay to shove the 4th in.
Do you know what? Anyone that's just listening to the audio only on this show is going to be having a really hard time with this section.
Yeah, no, that's not happening. 3. So whoever vote.
No one. Everyone
voted 3.
Everyone had about 4.
You'd have won a Pandora if.
I'd said 4 and Jimmy said 8.
8.
Said 7 and Hardman said 5.
Hang on. 8. What hole was that? My mouth or?
Well, it's supposed to be, but
I still think we should have 3 in your mouth and 1 up each nostril. That would get 5.
Oh, that'd do
oh
it.
yes, Lindsay, get back on it. Come on.
Hang on.
Oh no!
She won't put it on my nose. It's her mod.
Put her mod in your mouth and put the other 2 in your mouth, and then one of your mods up your nose.
Right, my second. Where's it gone?
Oh, yeah, you know.
It's not going up my nose. Shut up, woman. I'm on a purge with a 24 mil Goon 24.
Well, it wouldn't be a Goon 22 if it was 24 mil.
And
Jeez, that's a bit feisty.
Take a hit of that one up your nose.
I did. And on that,
You use the silver one.
those of you that get the Vape Around boxes will probably know what I'm talking about. Burst. And they're clearly a complete rip-off of Starburst. But there's about 5 or 6 in the range. Has anyone had these at the shops? Or?
Are the Vape Around sample boxes free?
Well, yeah, to retailers.
Sign me up. I've got my business registered here.
So yeah, they said, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 bottles of this. And this is the Citrus Burst. But what I've done is I've put one of those in.
Nick shot. Oh, is that what I think it is?
It's a Nick Salt 18 milligram Nick shot. Now they came through as samples to the shop. And I had a conversation with Stu at the weekend. It was like, knowing my luck, it'll absolutely destroy the juice. I end up having to put the juice in the bin. So I put it in free juice, so it didn't really matter. I'll be honest with you, I'm not noticing a massive difference. Apart from the fact, it doesn't say anywhere on it what the ratio is. Nowhere at all what the ratio is. But by the time I turned the bottle upside down and poured it into my bottle, it was empty. So
Sounds thin.
it was fucking thin. It's not. I've got to be honest. It's not harsh at all.
Is 3 milligram Nick salts then equivalent to 3 milligram normal Nick?
Yeah, but
I thought you went for a higher Nick salt than you normally would vape with normal Nick.
It's all right. It's I don't feel it's hitting me more. All I'm noticing is my juice is like water now, literally.
That does look quite thin.
Very thin. I think it was a 70-30 to start off with. No idea, because they don't write ratios on the bottles anymore, do they? The Americans. Yep, no idea. It looked like 70-30. I've now put that 10 ml shot in, and it's got like a negative value, so I'm probably vaping on like 50-50 now or something. But no, it tastes all right. It's just thin as shit. An Old Faithful 18 milligram mint from.
Well, even if that was pure PG and you added it to a 70-30, you've still got a 60-40 mix.
Yeah, it's very thin.
So if it is very thin, it sounds like it was pure PG.
Pretty much, it was very thin. I'd say it was a 50. I'd say it was thinner than 50-50 by the way it decanted, but let's say 50-50.
It's hard to tell sometimes, though, isn't it? Because like heat and cold sort of stiffen and loosen your juice, don't they? Like I know that office of yours isn't the coolest room in the world.
Because if you've got a 50-50 mix in there and you add it to a 70-30, you're going to come out with 66-33, which wouldn't thin it down too much, would it? Or I wouldn't have thought it would.
It's enough for me not to want to drip it.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's very wet. Not that it's any wetter than. Anyway, so this week we are talking about So You Want to Be a Rock Star? No, a vape superstar. The reason this show came up, and actually I'm just going to invite one of our first guests. We've got 2 guests this evening. I'm just going to invite our first guest in. Oh, I've got a shitload of addresses in front of me. There we go. So if you're due to join us, check your PMs. So obviously, everyone in this hangout at the minute has manufactured or produced something, one thing or another, whether it be hardware or juice or whatever.
Oh,
we need a camera.
Camera.
camera's on. Come on, you can do this.
Camera.
Fuck. How the fuck do I do this now?
There might be a button at the top with with looks like a camera. If it's red, click it.
That'll be the fucker.
There you go.
Hey!
Evening, gentlemen and
Evening,
ladies.
fella.
So we've all, for one reason or another, ended up manufacturing or producing or creating something for the vape industry. Now, how did we all get there? How did we end up in a position where we're manufacturing something? And how easy is it for somebody outside the industry or new to the industry to start manufacturing and putting something to market?
Who wants to go first?
Oh,
Depends on what scale you're working towards. If you just want to be involved in the industry, anyone can do it, providing you're not an idiot.
Oh, there's fucking loads of idiots about.
hang on, I'm an idiot. I've done it.
Yeah, same here, mate.
Likewise.
I mean, like a proper moron.
Oh, I'm fucking moron. Aye.
There's a lot of proper morons out there that are fucking selling all sorts of shit that they've knocked up and it's like not wired correctly, or it's fucking, you know, you put 10 amps for it and the wires melt and the fucking switch burns out and the fucking, do you know what I mean? Like the whole thing is just dog shit.
There is a lot of that about. There is, unfortunately. But I think it's about education, isn't it? Do you mean it's about, you know, about actually learning what you want to do and taking responsibility for the things you want to sell people.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I was actually searching for a computer on my Mac Pro, my iMac earlier, and I found in documents I transferred from my work computer to my Mac, there was a logo, like a label for the first ever time I tried knocking up juice, and I'd made myself a little label to try and fuck it, so it didn't look like a bag of shit, basically. And I found that, and it was dated November 2014 was when the file was first saved. So yeah, I was trying to involve myself fucking 2014 making juice, but it was mainly for myself and like my mates, because we didn't know anywhere you could get juice. It was high VG, because everywhere there was iBreathe. Remember them?
What?
iBreathe and that e-shisha.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And there was iBreathe, e-shisha, something else. They were the things we were vaping, and it was dog shit. And I went to a shop in Glasgow, and a geezer in there, he made out like he had this big fucking like extraction process out the back where he would take a coffee bean in and he would extract the flavour out of it. And really, it was just some fat bloke with a load of concentrates on the table mixing it up. And so I asked if I could use the toilet, and I went past and I see all these bottles on the side and it said Capella on it. I was like, all right. I said, what actually goes into making liquid? He's like, oh, you just put how much VG and PG you want in it. PG does the throat hit and VG's the cloud. And he said, and you just add special flavourings that we extract in-house. And I was like, oh, right. I was like, can you not buy the flavourings? He's like, nah, you'd have, you can't do that. And I was like, all right. So I went and Googled Capella, found out what it was. I bought a sample pack. I think they did a pack of 7 10ml concentrates. And they were like all the shit flavours. Do you know what I mean? They were ones they were trying to get rid of. I think hibiscus was one of them. Bacon.
Bacon?
Yeah, smoky bacon, hibiscus, something else, and a few others. I know one of them was apple, one of them was like a bubble gum or something like that. So then, yeah, I went back, ordered some VG, ordered some PG, ordered some nicotine, had the Capella concentrates, mixed up a few 10ml bottles. I was doing like half a milliliter of this and a quarter of a milliliter of that. Trying to make these fucking juices in a 10ml bottle. And Bob's your uncle. But those were the days. I think I enjoyed vaping most then because there was a big discovery for me then.
It was like the frontier, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I was looking for more juice recipes, and I was only using the Nautilus Mini at the time, I think, or Nautilus. And it made me look online for Capella, and it made me look online for recipes, and then I found vape groups, and that's how I sort of ended up getting more involved. So,
how long ago was that, Chris?
It would have been, by the time I actually started getting involved properly, probably January 2015, maybe.
So,
November. It was November 2014 when I started making liquid. That was when the timestamp for the labels for my bottles were, like where it says first created, the file. That was November 2014.
Yeah, everyone's got to start somewhere, though, isn't it?
Considering making anything in 2014.
Great. I actually made a lot of money off juices, but it was not like on purpose. It was just because my mates were just paying me what it cost them to buy bottles locally, iBreathe and iShisha and all that shit. And they just said, oh, I'll give you the money and you can make it. And then it only was when I went to buy more concentrates, I realised I'm actually making a bit of cash off this. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time, then when Vampire Vape come out, I was buying like the pear drops and the Heisenberg and just mixing that at home. And then people wanted it. And they were getting 60ml bottles or 50. No, I think they were 30ml, but they were really weird bottles. And yeah, it just went from there, really. And then, yeah. That actually got me into manufacturing, I think, though, because from there I designed some juices for a few different companies. People were trying the stuff I was making and really liked it. So then they asked me to design their flavors, and they had it produced. And then I got involved with a company that were actually producing their own, and they took a whole line of juices that I designed, and they gave me about 10 grand's worth of concentrates and full access to a lab. So I designed a few juices for them, but then I didn't like their business ethics, so I kind of disappeared from them and got myself involved with other places, and that's where Pandora got born, really. But I think it all started from making juice back then.
So it wasn't an easy process. It wasn't an easy step into the industry.
It wasn't that I intentionally tried to step into the industry. It just sort of happened. The same way, like, I didn't intend to ever do anything with like the likes of my 3D printer. I bought that because my mates were making boxes. I made a box. It was nowhere near as good as they could do, and it was just sitting there. And then fidget spinners, well, I say fidget, the torque bar come out, and me and my mate in the States, we were printing fidget spinners. And the only one on the market was a torque bar, and it was so expensive. So we pumped out hundreds of these fucking spinners with a 3D printer. So I got good at designing stuff because I had to design new spinners every week. Every week, someone wanted a different spinner with a different logo in it and all this stuff. So I ended up teaching myself the design software to keep up with the demand of these fidget spinners. Then China got wind of them, and they went mental. So it wasn't worth me spending 25 minutes printing something and then 15 minutes assembling it, sourcing bearings that cost me £12 each, to sell it for 25 quid, because everyone could get them for £4.99 from their local shop. So the 3D printer was then cast to the side, and I put my design skills to different use. But yeah, it's actually been a continuous journey. Before I was part of the community, before I was in vape groups, it started out, I was already making a product, not to the level that I am now, or not to the involvement I've been in now, but essentially I was making a product to keep myself going. It was cheaper than me buying juice. The juice was better. It didn't give me the dirty throat hit that at 90 PG did. So it was really to help myself, and in helping myself, I got good at it and started helping others. I think the same way with Sean Goldsmith. He was just making himself tips, and his mates saw him and they wanted them, and then more people reached out to him, and he ended up, creating his business, Golden Vape. So, I mean, what about yourself, Stu? Where did you start out?
I'm more interested in hearing from my guest. Like they're patiently waiting for his turn.
Sorry about that. I don't know.
Craig, obviously, you make some incredible pieces, different pieces. Talk to us about your background before you talk about what you do.
Me, just I fuck about with planes for a living. That's what I do.
I love following your Facebook profile.
That cooling system that was just a mass of pipes that you posted the other day.
Oh, that's all the fueling and hydraulic systems on a gas turbine engine on a jet. Yeah, no, they're complicated things, but I don't know. Claire and I have been smoking since we were 15, 16, something like that. And I was like, look, should we give up smoking? Should we start vaping? And a couple of boys in work were vaping, and someone had mentioned mods, and I didn't have a clue about what any of this shit was. So we made the decision, just over 2 years ago, 2 years, January, to make the investment. And in all fairness, we haven't had a fag since. And then very shortly after, I saw people making mods out of silly things, boxes. It wasn't just what you could buy on the shops and stuff. There were people making different things. I saw people like, that sort of shit. Yeah, that's the sort of gig. The Pokeballs and things like that.
This was made in 2015. It was number 3, third one ever made.
And so I think I started seeing people like Nigel Moxon and Mike Dacus and Aidan Linnane and all of some of these amazing British modders we've got who are just, the work they turn out is Herbie McCubbin. I mean, I've got one of Nigel's SVBFs. I've got Herbie's Storm Vape, and the work. I thought, fuck, you don't have to buy smock shit. You don't have to. I mean, I say shit. I mean, Aspire. I started on Aspire stuff, so did Claire, and I still rate it, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. But I want to do something different, so I started doing the city. Being a petrol head, I started doing the city car mods, the Mini, the GTR. And
Your thing has kind of become, what's he gonna stick a mod in next, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I do my best. I mean, half of it. I mean, the thing is, people say, "Oh, can I buy that?" I don't make any fucking money on it. When you put the number of hours I chuck into this shit, like, I mean, I'm working on less than minimum wage, a lot less than minimum wage. I do it to make people smile, just to make people, just to see the reaction. Really, I mean, there's nothing. I could do 5 hours overtime and make a fuck sight more than I do making mods.
And that's an interesting point of view for us, because whilst we all make something, most of us at least do it on some kind of commercial level. I mean, I don't know about Chandler with the own record, because I know obviously that's a very new thing for him. But me, Chris, and Mark, certainly, what we do is to put food on the table. You know, it's not a hobby.
It's not for me.
A business that came from a hobby.
No, for me, it was just. I mean, like. I've outlaid a lot of money. I've bought a load of tools and stuff. I mean, everything I've sort of made on every mod I've sold. I mean, you've seen I do the little custom Pico things. Do you mean the resin ones?
I want one of them. I think Risa wants one of them as well, actually.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, people like them, and that's what gives me the biggest hit is people actually seeing it and going, I fucking like that, and that's, to me, that's almost worth more than money. I mean, I've got to cover my costs as such. Like, do you mean I've got to try and again, but my main I can't see it ever replacing my main job as such. Like, do you mean?
But you still need
the number of hours I put in.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
You still need to look at it as a business, though. You know, you've obviously got to cover your costs. You know, even if it's just hardware costs and you're doing it for the love of the industry, you've still got to cover hardware costs. You've still got to kind of look at it from a business point of view, that you need to cover costs and maybe make a couple of quid for your time.
Yeah, I make a pound or two, but I mean, it is when I'm doing one at the moment, and the number of hours I've put into it, realistically, I'm not going to make a lot out of it. But again, when I see the look on that person's face, it's going to make it all fucking worthwhile. Do you mean? It's when I see him go, fuck me.
What's the strangest thing you've turned into a mod?
A strangest thing? Oh, I don't know, man. I mainly do the cars, and there's the under vapor, which is still my daily beater.
The under vapors, I love that.
It doesn't matter if I
turn like a rabbit into one.
A rabbit?
Right.
No, that's been done. There's a Mr. Burks who does the Rude Pope. Is it? He does the willy shaped ones. No, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I try not to do something that's been done before. Do you mean? I
saw one. I don't think you made it, but it was a Xbox 360 controller, and the trigger was the fire button.
Yeah. No, those have been done. Chris Burks, he's done the Nintendo controllers. I think they got like a 14500 battery in them or something like that. I mean, these are novelty vapes. I mean, they're not big cloud chasing mods. And, you're not gonna. And sometimes some people expect, oh, what can I put on there, mate? Can I get massive clouds out of it? And just like, mate, it's not about that. It's about having something daft. It's about having something silly, having something unique, something that's not gonna, something that no one else is gonna get. And I try and only make one. I mean, I've started now stabilizing my own wood and trying to do some more conventional mods, like, do you mean? But again, I'll always try and do something a bit different from everyone else's.
Do you reckon you could make me a really long Gandalf pipe?
A really long Gandalf pipe?
Yeah, like I'm talking like this long, like
It won't help you blow ships. You know that, don't you?
I really want one.
It's not like that VGod trick tank that makes you better at tricks.
I've never ever been able to get one.
There are people out there who do them. I mean, Chris Scott is doing he's doing the Swipe at the moment, which is a beautiful squonking.
Yeah, I've seen it. I want a really, really long one.
All he needs is a long fucking stem.
You just want one drip tip, don't you?
Yeah, you just
a monster drip tip. I did a lorry. I did like an American truck, and I just had to get a smokestack, exhaust stack. There was just a really long tip that I just chucked on top of the thing that came up above the cap. You can get some ridiculous drip tips if you look around.
Yeah, I've got most of them.
And you use them. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I just make silly shit. That's the long and short of it.
What's the one you're most proud of?
Oh fuck me, man! I don't know about proud. What I'm most proud of, the one I made for Claire for Valentine's, is like a pinky purpley color shifting Pico again for Valentine's Day. And the ones I've made I do quite like the pearls and the color shifts and stuff like that. And just again, I'm proud of anything that someone comes back to me and goes, I love it. I love what you've made for me. And anything that any response I get like that makes me proud.
You must enjoy doing it then.
I do. I quite enjoy the craft of it. I mean, and sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes wrong. Sometimes I'm there in the garage tearing my fucking hair out. But it's the most enjoyment I get is when someone says, I like this. I think it's wonderful. And then if I get that response, I'm a fucking happy man.
So where are you from? Down in the valleys?
I'm from, most of my life in Pontypool. I live just outside Newport now.
Lisa's from there, isn't she?
Well,
Lisa's from Cumbria. You fucking idiot.
I heard that Lisa was from Wales.
No, her dad's from Wales.
Pretty sure I heard she was mad.
Tiger.
So, Craig, and if anyone said to you, should I get involved with the industry? Should I start producing? Should I start manufacturing? What would you say to them?
Oh, man, that's a difficult one. If you've got to, I think in today's market, there's so many, it's so easy to go and get a 3D printer. It's so easy to go and get some of the other quick to get to market mods and that's nothing against some of the 3D printed mods. I mean, some of the 3D printed mods are special. They've got individual design qualities. They've got
some examples.
Of what?
Of the 3D printed mods that you're saying are exquisite, that are good.
Oh man, you're a fucker. I like something that's different. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up, blowing vape up Chandler's ass. But I mean, something with the prisoner mod, it's different. Can I see the point, or can I see the price that is justified for like a Frankie or something like that? Honestly, I fucking can't. I can't. The hype thing does me in. I find it difficult to justify a 3D printed mod changing hands for more than the price of an exquisitely crafted stab wood mod. I can't get my head around that. I know it's going to happen, and my opinion's not going to be the same as everyone else's. But to me, I don't see the comparison between the two. I mean, I know how some of these mods take to fucking make, and how many times you sit there and chuck a bit of you've spent hours on something and then chucked it in the fucking bin.
Yeah.
I do that with almost every fucking drip tip I make.
Yeah,
fucking good, and I'll leave a little bit too much, and I'll go and take the bit off and I'll snap it. right at the last fucking second.
Mate, honestly, but that's what happens. Do you mean that's what happens when you're trying to craft something that's a bit special? It's I don't know. It's a very strange industry. This, it really is. I mean, you can't things that look. It's not. I find it difficult to compare it to any other market, where you can put a monetary value on something. And I mean, I'm a car man, like you mean, or a bike person, like you mean. You can see a Ferrari. You can see why it costs more than a Fiesta. I can't see why a Frankie costs more than a wooden mod that someone's crafted lovingly over 25 fucking hours.
Okay, Craig. Say let's say a Ferrari.
I fucking hate Ferraris.
All right, Lamborghini. So let's go for a Lamborghini, right? So a Lamborghini, let's say it costs you 250 grand.
Yeah.
Right? Would you understand? Obviously, there's waiting lists to buy these brand new.
Yes.
Can you comprehend someone spending 5 grand to get higher up the list?
I can see why they do it. I think they're a fucking idiot, but I think I can understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it means that much to you, wait your fucking turn. Do you mean? If again, I see this argument. I mean, I'm on a few groups, more that some of the high end groups, like, do you mean? Well, some of the high end groups I actually respect, like SV and stuff, and I think there's a lot of talk. There's a lot of sensible people on there. I mean, I'm a big fan of Frank and stuff, and Gustav, and there's this thing of entitlement, and people think I should have that. I said, well, no, mate. If you want it, wait your fucking turn. If you want it that badly, you'll wait your fucking turn.
Because it very, very much is, especially in the, I hate using the word high-end game, but for the higher-end mods, anything that's handcrafted, anything that's a little bit different, you are going to have to wait. You are going to have to sit on a list. You are going to have to...
Yeah, but if it matters that much to you, you will wait. You will sit on that list, and it will, I mean, I've got and that's, I've got high end stuff, but it's not. I'll wait for it. If it matters that much to me, I'll wait it out. And that's Damien Morton's.
What I have a hard time with is things like raffles to win the right to buy something, or randomizers to decide who goes on the waiting list and stuff like that. Like I've said it before, like I find the whole waiting list culture I find a little bit alien to me. Like, if you wanted to buy a Lambo today, you phone Lamborghini and they'd tell you how long the waiting list is, and you'd say, okay, I want to go on the bottom of the waiting list, or you'd say, I'm going to try Ferrari, or I'm going to try Porsche, or I'm going to try AMG.
But if you've got the money to buy that Lamborghini, if you could get to the top of the list and it costs you 10 grand, 5 grand, you wanted it that bad.
But what I'm saying is, if you want to go on the list, you either buy your way higher up it, which, that's a separate issue and it's sleazy in its own right, or you go onto the bottom of the list and you join everyone else that's on the list. Auctioning off list places and randomizers and stuff like that, like, it feels a bit false to me. Do you know what I mean? It feels a bit fake to me. Like, if 10,000 people want your mod and you've only made 500, the first 500 that ask for one get one. The remaining 9,500 people are on the waiting list, and the next 500 will get the next 500 that you make. Like,
I think that's fair enough. I've got my main job, and I can do. My modding is in my spare time. I mean, that is, I've never any secret of this. People ask me for something. I'll say, fuck, I can't. You're gonna have to wait. I mean, I can't do it. But as you say, and this fucking raffling for the chance to go on a list, that grips my shit. I'm sorry. I thought that was fucking disgusting last year.
It's like, look at Chris Scott mods, right? For example.
There's a craftsman for you.
I bought a clicker and a set of stabwood doors. Now, when it arrived, the stabwood had a knot missing out of the wood. And I said to Chris, I'm sorry to be a pain in the ass, but this one's missing a knot, so it's got like a chunk out of it. Said, is there any chance I could buy some more doors, or you could fix it? I could send it to you, you could put resin in it, or whatever. He said, no, just give me your address and I'll send you some more. And he had a look and he couldn't find one to match. And he'd only made one set of doors that weren't wood at this point. And he said, I've got some of this Cryonite, if you want me to make you some doors out of that. I said, oh, please, mate. That week, made me some new doors, brand new. I got to pick what colour I wanted and everything. Sent them out to me, and the magnets were backwards. So I messaged him saying, magnets are backwards, mate. I said, should I try and get them out? He said, look, he said, I'll make you some more anyway, but try and soak it in acetone and get them out and reverse them, then magic. So he set out and made me another set. So he made me this other set, and that came today. I got it out of the package. He hadn't put the magnets in. He wanted to make sure that my magnets were the right way. So I stuck the magnets onto the ones that were on the box, and I got the door lined up. I added some glue to the door. I stuck a magnet. I stuck a like a little spike thing onto the magnet, pulled it up, turned it over so I could stick it in. I was trying to be really careful. Stabbed myself in the finger. The magnet flipped over, and I didn't notice. And then I stuck the magnet in backwards. So I'm sitting there with this spiky thing, blood pouring out my finger. I'm fucking raging at this point. So blood's dripping all over the side. I've got this spike that I've just stabbed myself with, scraping around the magnet, trying to get it to come back out before the glue sets. The glue sets. I carry on scraping, trying to get this fucking magnet out, and I snap the corner off of the panel. So by this point, I'm about to cry. I stick the panel on the side, and I took a picture with the corner missing. I sent it to Chris. I said, ignore the blood spot. I said, but I'm so done with this. And he was like, oh, we're not having a good time, are we? I says, no, mate. I says, to be honest, I've given up. Like, I really appreciate the help you've given me. But yeah, fuck it. I'll just stick the normal doors back on.
Won't mind, but you haven't mentioned what happened when you tried to soak the doors in acetate.
Oh, I dropped it. It stuck to my top, and then I had a big sticky patch of like melted Cryonite. But we won't go into that. So anyway, so I says to him, look, I says, don't worry about it, mate. He goes, I'll make you some more. I said, Chris, it's not worth your time, mate. I said, no, my luck, it'll come. I'll drop it, snap it in half. Do you know what I mean? I'll trip over, it'll fall into the goldfish tank, the fish will eat it, and then the cat will eat the fish, and the dog will eat the cat. Do you know what I mean? I said, something could fucking happen. I said, don't worry about it.
But I think what you're trying to say is the support that you got from a modder is much more than you'd ever get from
Smock or, you know, whatever.
Absolutely.
So anyway, yeah, he sent me a picture of loads of different materials. There's what colour do you want this time? So now he's making me another set. He's a fucking
bless him.
Yeah, well, I think that's the difference between buying something off someone who cares, and it's not just the UK. I mean, in the UK, we have got such a fucking plethora of fantastic modders, as say Moxon, Lanane, Degas, Chris Scott, and I hope there's Herbie McCubbin, whose customer service is just fantastic. And it's not just the UK. There are people like this around the world. But I think the modding scene in the UK has inspired me no end. I mean, I don't think I'd be doing... And not only this, I mean, Vape Talk UK was the first show I fucking watched, which brought me on to iOS, and then SV, and then UK Squonkers. I think the scene in the UK is just so amazing. And as I say, we're such a depth of talent in this country. I don't think we can ignore that, and I don't think it's something that I think it's something that's maybe not appreciated by the majority of non-hobbyist vapors. Like, do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that kind of stuff it's quite understated, isn't it? It's very easy to miss if you only have a sort of superficial or passing interest in something. I think we're so used to everything sort of being mass manufactured in China these days that unless you sort of peel back the curtain, you can't really be blamed for assuming that your e-cigs are always going to come from sort of big factories in China. And it's only when you sort of start to take a closer look that you realise that there's all this UK modding talent and people that are putting their sort of heart and soul into it.
Yeah, no, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's been a fucking inspiration to me. I mean, it really has. There's no way I would have, and the support you get from these people. You can message people like Chris Scott or Mike Dacre, and they've got no need to give away their secrets or share their knowledge with you, but they fucking do. And they're happy to, and there's that camaraderie that you haven't got in other industries. I watched last week's show earlier on, and Shyvix was saying about the backstabbing and stuff earlier on. And unfortunately, there is a lot of that. I mean, we've seen what's happened with TYV, with Rogue and shit, that sort of stories, and those. It's horrible to fucking see, like, do you mean? But that's not all the industry. There is some real fucking good stuff going on in this industry.
I mean, if anything, it seems like the cattiness and the backstabbing is an everyday shrinking portion of the industry. Those people are finding themselves more and more lonely as time progresses. And the people that really want to give each other a leg up and look after each other seem to slowly be banding into larger groups. You're starting to find now that there are clusters of makers that sort of stick together, and and everyone kind of wants to leg up everyone else that's in their group and sort of help them get ahead.
Well, that's the thing with social media. See, if you're a cunt, you will soon be outed. I mean, there's a few. It's happened on several groups. I mean, I'm not going to mention any names.
Mention names.
Mark loves it when people mention names. Unless you ask Mark to mention names.
I have been
Mark mentioned Hartley. Is that why you're not in SV anymore, mate? But I think you're fucking right, mate, to be perfectly honest with you. Cunt. But I think it's... Again, with social media, these people are the speed with which they're outed is exponential. I mean, you do something right, people will tell one person. You do something wrong, they will tell fucking everyone.
There's one individual, Limelight, is all I'm going to say, that...
Heather! Oh, sorry.
Heather, no, did you say Heather? Like that flowery sort of... Yeah, no, I didn't say a fucking word, me.
I was trying to avoid names.
I know. You didn't do it fucking the other week, mate. Why should you stop now?
Trying to avoid names, so you said Heather.
I don't get it. But again, these people have been revealed for what they are now, and
the industry was good. The industry's good to these people.
Mate, that group, right? The group, the group I'm talking about, have helped that person out of the shit. Do you mean with all all that person's sob stories, etc. And I always thought at the time it was a bit iffy, but again, the truth will out, and it will, and it has, and that can only be a good thing.
I bought an RDA off someone. It was one of my mates, and the RRP was actually about 80 quid, but he charged me 100 for it. And he said, if you ever sell it again, I'll buy it back. And I thought he was joking, like people say that, making it out like they really want to keep it. Anyway, I paid this 100 quid, and someone told me it was 80. Markski said, oh, that's about 80 quid. Because I was going to go sell it actually, and I asked how much it was. He said about 80 quid. I was like, for fuck's sake. And then actually, true to his word, I put that post up saying it was for sale, and he messaged me saying, I'll have that. And I said, 100 quid, and he paid it. Paid exactly what I paid him straight back for it. Now that to me is although I paid more than retail, you know, it was an honourable thing to do. You know what I mean? And he's a friend of mine, and I expected better of him. So when, in that period of time where I thought it's only worth 80 quid and he's charged me 100, I thought, I sort of questioned him. Do you know what I mean? I questioned his morals. And then actually, when he brought it back, I realised that that's it. He is actually my mate. He wasn't mugging me off. He was being honest. And I think that's the problem. She was that well involved with that group. It was an even bigger kick to the teeth when they realised she had fucked people over.
But it's a classic situation, isn't it, where the cream rises to the top, sort of thing. You know, the people that aren't fucking other people, the people that are looking out for people and trying to do their best to be a responsible part of the community, tend to be the people that are kept around and that are loved and you know, have good things passed on about them, and the people that are cunts, you know, they get outed and then they disappear. Yeah, and
going back
how it goes.
Going back to Chris Scott. Going back to Chris Scott, it was Chris Scott at Vape Fest that convinced me that I could make my own mod. Do you know what I mean? It was, and I was just there going, your mods are absolutely lovely. They're out of my price range. He says, well, make one yourself. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't know where to start, mate. And it was Chris Scott, and I messaged him. He gave me advice. And
the man's a fucking star.
Yeah, James Benson from Uncle Chur, he gave me advice and helped me with designing and what have you. You know, the camaraderie and the support that you can get if you ask for it is just awesome.
But that's within our side of the industry. You go to other side of the industry and you'll find it very, very cutthroat. You'll find it very nasty. That's why I'm so proud to be part of the non-cunty side of the industry that looks after other people, the industry that scratches each other's back. That sounds cuntish, you know what I mean? You know, we look after each other.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. Again, this is it's a different industry. It's not like cars or cookers or washing machines. You don't just buy fucking one of them. You buy many. So I mean, by helping someone else, you're not cutting your own fucking throat. Do you mean? If they like your what you're making, they'll buy one. It don't matter if they got fucking 20 mods on the shelf. They will fucking buy one of yours because they like it. So you can give you can give that help, you can give that support to someone else who's starting out, who's having a problem,
I think on the juice side, there is a lot of genuine competition.
On juice, I think juice is yeah. Again, that's weird. That's more like petrol. Do you mean?
In hardware, I think you're quite right. You know, in hardware, it's a commodity market, and you know, people don't buy it because they need it. They buy it because they want it. And there isn't any real competition. You know, even if what you've made has the same specs, the same price point, same construction materials as something else on the market, you know, people that are going to buy yours are going to buy yours, and people that are going to buy the next man's are going to buy the next man's. And it's not that traditional thing of, well, these are both the same, but this one's £10 less, so I'll buy this one. That just doesn't exist in this market. You know, people buy the product that they want.
I think it does exist when it comes to the giver-up smokerers.
Yeah. At the lower end of the market and on your sort of mass-produced stuff, you know, your big numbers, kind of stack them high, sell them low sort of stuff, you know, your smocks and all that. Yeah, I think it definitely exists in that market. But I think in the kind of side of hardware that we sort of know and understand and deal with on the daily, it's just not part of the game for us.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
introduce the second guest, who I thought was Adam RH. I was like,
it's not. Can I introduce Brad? He's very much a hobbyist. Brad, you've got your audio muted. I don't know if that's intentional.
The audio replaying back to you guys.
Can't hear him.
Always quiet.
Turn him up.
Very quiet. I've turned him up as loud as he can go.
Is it that bad?
He might have to shout.
Oh, really that bad? Jesus.
Hey now.
So obviously we'd obviously planned this show, and the reason we've brought you on, Brad, was
Sorry, Brad. Can you speak again? Because I don't want to not hear you.
Is that any better? Can you hear me clearly? Or do I?
No, you're so quiet.
Really?
Refresh your Hangouts quick.
All right. Okay. I'll come back in. Hold on 1 sec.
I'll make sure we can hear him before we start actually discussing stuff with it. I think if he I think he might need to change his input. So I don't know how you do it. Settings, microphone. Yeah. Unless you're on a phone, then fuck no. Can I just say, Craig, you look a bit like Kirk Hammett.
Kirk Hammett?
Yeah.
We've got half of Metallica.
We have half of Metallica.
Metallica were great. Right, hang on, boys. My dog might go fucking mental because my missus just come back in with my eldest, well, my youngest, just in case you hear some noises. Metallica were great up until the Black Album. Up until which point they disappeared up their own arse.
I can't
There's
much like
two
YouTube.
types of Metallica fans, isn't there? There's Metallica fans that are Black Album and prior, and there's Metallica fans that are no, Metallica have never made a bad album. What are you talking about?
No, Black Album and prior definitely, mate.
You see, I'm the other camp. I don't think they've ever made a bad album. I think they've made less good albums.
Again, you know, like U2 after the Joshua Tree disappeared up their own arse. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, that's.
See, I don't like U2.
Kill 'Em All was my password for a good number of years.
Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
Good album. One of the best debut albums ever.
Kill 'Em All. I wouldn't want people to guess it. But yeah, that changed.
Google shit.
2004.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and find Chris's MySpace account and really fuck his life up.
Probably the password.
So, Brad, do we have audio now?
Come through clearly.
No.
Nope.
Are you on a computer or a phone? I can't hear. Have you got a pen and paper?
Brad, click the settings tab at the top.
At the top, the settings. Click that.
Yeah, click the little cog.
And then click the microphone. Change it to a different one.
Don't have a spare microphone. Hold on, microphone.
You might have a built-in one and one in the webcam.
Yeah, I did that.
Any better?
Absolutely not.
Jesus, love it.
Have you got a phone?
I've got a phone, I've got an iPad, a phone.
Go live on your iPad. It's a film.
It's a play.
4 words.
Yeah, exit from your computer and try joining on the iPad instead.
5 words. It's a phrase. Go live on your iPad.
I love the way Chris did 5 words holding up 6 fingers and then said it's a phrase miming movie.
I was taking the piss. I wasn't actually. I don't think phrase is even an option in charades.
The fact that there was doubt should tell you a lot about yourself, Chris.
Well, I don't play charades.
You do know.
No win. Let's see if he comes back on his iPad. If he does, I definitely win.
Yeah, I mean, we're all dying to hear what he has to say.
Don't hear anything. Stu, what is that can on the side behind you?
That is a massive can of Arizona grape soda.
I fucking love that shit.
Fucking fungus.
Where's
There's 680 ml cans. Look at the size of that next to my massive head. I've got a really big head as well.
Where'd you get it from?
Arizona.
Hardy. You know Hardy's, the sweet shop chain.
Oh, we don't have that up here.
I'm fucking lucky.
There's a website called AmericanFizz.co.uk and they sell all that sort of shit, but it's really expensive.
I saw your post this week, Chris, about the beer thing that you posted.
Oh yeah,
I need to sign up to that, but I'm quite excited this week. We managed to get our brewery in. We're just waiting for it to be piped.
What? You got a brewery? Are you married?
Can you get us deals?
I'm sure I'll be able to sort you out.
Yeah, not like my mate when I helped him move 40 PCs and reset them all, and he gave me a crate of out-of-date fucking Stella.
Wow.
What a dickhead.
Friends like these, eh?
Ouch.
He gave me a 4-pack of Sierra Nevada and an out-of-date fucking crate of Stella. What an arsehole.
I've got work in the morning. Look what you fucking made me do.
How did we make you do that?
You're bad influence.
To be honest, I was going to get some gin, but I can't be asked.
I'm drinking Coke Zero.
Lightweight.
I'm not being held up as any kind of bad influence.
Yeah, no, I mean, there you go. That's what I'm on.
And I don't drink, so
I've had a couple.
You don't drink my ass.
Yeah, no, don't and Steve Total. Everyone knows that.
I've had a couple of beers, but I can't be asked to go get the gin out.
Brad,
Yo,
can you hear us?
I can hear you, but can you freaking hear me? That's the problem.
Well,
You
it's
see
better
the
than it
forehead.
was.
It's better than it was. Turn him up, Stu.
Sorry about that, guys. That's useless of me. I apologise in advance.
We've got
That's an awesome cap.
Thank you. Oh, geez, Louise. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just, yeah. After that escapade, it was a bit annoying. Sorry. Yeah, no, New York hat is actually because I'm going in May. Wife's 40th. Decided to pay for some tickets. Treat.
Can I go? Can I come?
Oh, if only I could afford it, I would. But yeah, 40th birthday is one of those.
That's one place I want to go before I die.
Yeah, exactly. Bucket list. Reason we're going, man. Are you reason we're going?
Oh man, I'm so jealous.
So, Brad, the reason we got you in tonight, back in December, you posted the Vape Talk UK group.
I did indeed.
There we go. Someone looking to not necessarily break into the industry, but potentially give back to the industry and start producing, start manufacturing, start giving back to the industry. Obviously, I've not filled you in about what this show's about. You've literally just dropped in. So obviously you posted in the group. You weren't sure where to start. You could build your DIY liquids. You were potentially looking at buying a lathe.
Still thinking about it.
How far did you get with your plans?
Do you know what? There's a few things that I've looked into, and the problem is where do you start? Who do you contact, and how do you go about it? I haven't found that way yet. I've been looking to change my role and where I work. So I work in a hospital, and I decided to. That's me done with it for now. I saw a job opportunity to work for randomly, and this is the Belly of the Beast, the cigar shop. And in the cigar shop, they sell e-liquids, starter kits, and all of that. And I thought, well, could that be a shoe-in? It's a bit of the belly of the beast. You want to be converting smokers. And there is a difference between a cigarette smoker and someone who gets their backy to someone who goes and buys a cigar for a special occasion every now and again. So the opportunity's still there. I'm not sure whether that might... Can you imagine, you speak to people and so what do you do? I work in a cigar shop, but I sell e-liquids and starter kits. It's okay. Is that a shoe-in? I don't think it is. But
I would say this: if you were going to start anywhere in this industry, start in retail, because firstly you'll learn your customer, which if you're going to progress into any kind of manufacturing facility, is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But secondly, that's where you'll make all your contacts, because in retail, you'll be dealing with other suppliers. Suppliers will tell you about events. You will go to events. You'll watch shows like VT UK and IOS. You'll get onto Facebook pages. You'll meet more and more and more people. And as your circle expands, that's where you'll make all your contacts. And then you'll be in the very fortunate position that I'm in, for example, where if I need to know something about juice manufacture, I go to Dale or Mark. If I need to know something about design, I go to Chris. If I need to know something about 90s metal, I go to Chandler,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's knowing that branch. Where do you go to? Who do you speak to about it? the retail side of it, I mean, I've worked in pubs, bars, and anyone can tell you who's worked in those, that's retail. You're selling alcohol and you're dealing with drunk people. One of my local vape shops actually put up a video in their shop from the shoulder cam sort of thing over on the shelf. And one of the customers who come in was one of my customers who used to come to the pub. And I just saw exactly what I saw in the pub, just in the vape shop. So she was hassling him and, oh, you told me it would be this and this liquid was supposed to be that. And I was like, geez, the exact same way that you would act in buying a drink was exactly the same way you'd go and buy e-liquid. And you promised me it would taste the same as the last tobacco liquid, but it doesn't. And it was just like, oh, I know dealing with people, retail, I mean, working in a hospital, people who are sick are the hardest people because, they need you more than, well, I say you need them, you need to help them get somewhere. And if you're ill, you're most vulnerable, and it's the most difficult, But yeah, the shoeing. I mean, I've spoke to a lot of people about it. People who are in the industry, like you say, you sort of pick up people, you join groups, and you speak to people about it. And I think a lot of people have gone different routes with it. And I was obviously watching the show earlier. The fact Craig said about idiots, there are a lot of idiots around. And yet, those idiots are still doing quite well in comparison to. So I stopped working, took a break, looked after a sick relative, and then went back to work. And I went back I pretty much went, that's the end of it, that's where I'm at, and then went on. And I'm sort of starting back at the bottom, and I've got to work my way back up. And I just see, as I help so many people out in the vaping tree, like, when I see people with massive collections, I do think to myself, what have you used them for? I've given away countless stuff, and I don't have any affiliations or any link with anybody. It's just stuff I've bought, stuff I don't use, and stuff that can go to someone else to help them. And it does bug me a bit. I get the specialist stuff you keep, but anything that's, like you said, the smoke products and stuff that you've had for a while, pass them on to someone else, give them a chance.
To be honest, though, you'll find that most of us are like that. If it is something run of the mill,
I get that.
Most of us will just pass it on. It's only, like that, for example, that I wouldn't let that leave me without selling it, but when I'm done with that, I'll just give it to someone. I did the same thing with the 75 watt one that I had. I gave it to a mate of mine, I think that's a lot of the spirit of community that's sort of been fostered in this country around vaping over the last few years.
But that is the community that we're part of.
It's the good side.
A lot of those coming into the industry now or in the past 6 months aren't aware that this side of the community exists, aren't aware of...
Do
you know what? I'll be honest, guys. I didn't till not long ago. I'm a straight consumer, and do you know what? I know more from what I've watched and what I've learned from the American shows and the American websites and people offering advice out there than I have in the UK, because the only guys to watch is you guys and iOS. I almost put on a South African accent because there's a Brad on iOS at the moment, and it's driving me nuts. There's a lot of Brads popping up at the moment. I don't know what's going on, like in the American Mike Vapes, and now there's a Mike, what's his name, Brad Vapor and all that. My name was one of my own, and all of a sudden everybody's coming up out of the woodwork. So yeah, yeah.
Well, do you want some advice from me?
Please, Chris.
What are you good at?
I'm good with my hands.
Can you use a lathe?
I'm not stupid, which I've always said I'm not stupid. I have a way around my hands, as in the way that I use them from construction work, doing roofing and stuff. My hands are good. I can almost hold my candle to most things.
Can you use a lathe?
I've used a lathe for building construction, as far as building banisters at a couple of occasions, which is just a random thing. But yeah, they wanted the cheap option rather than buying them. I can use a lathe. I'd like to make drip tips. I think maybe, but then I don't want to compete with people like Vince and all the specialists. Unless I go acrylic.
It's not about competing. It's about bringing something unique and original to the market.
Absolutely.
Like, for instance, I bought a lathe. I bought a 3D printer. I bought a laser cutter.
I didn't know you were so much in the liquid when I was listening to you earlier. I never had any idea, Chris, that you were that much into the liquid previously, and obviously.
No, this is the thing. It was actually something that I didn't really tell many people about, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, I had a bit of spare money. Do you know what I mean? I had money that I could afford to waste. I bought a lathe. I bought a 3D printer. I bought a laser engraver. I bought a shitload of tools. I bought 50 different filament colors, and you know, I actually haven't done fuck all with any of them. And you know what it is?
It's finding what you're good at, though. And I'll be honest, I'd follow what you would do. I'd buy a lathe, make a load of broken drip tips, and be like, oh, okay, maybe not that's the one. Well, I'm good with a computer. I can organise a computer. Well, I say that after this evening's enterprise, but I'm all right with a computer, so maybe I can set up one to print me something. But I've seen the work that's going out there, and like you say, it's doing something different. That's where I struggle. That's what would you do?
Right. So e-liquid manufacture, you need to be good at science. You need to be good at retail. You also need to know, you need to have a lot of money to be able to invest into it. Because you've got a lot of tox testing and stuff. Even if you want to sell it nick shop.
Yeah.
3D printing. You've got to have a fucking amazing 3D printer, and you've
not
got
just the 2-bob one.
No, and you've got to know how to design things and how to export a design file to a printable visual image.
Yeah.
To make drip tips, you need to know how to use a lathe. You need to know what tools to cut, what materials at what speeds without damaging it.
Yeah, setting it on fire.
To make mods, you need to have a basic understanding of electronic circuitry. You've got to have a basic understanding of soldering. You need to know how to like the amp limits of wires. Now, these are all things I know. I can use my lathe, and I've made some fucking amazing drip tips. I've used my 3D printer, and I've made some amazing stuff. I've used the design work, and I've created stuff for myself to be manufactured for other people. I've made liquids for people. And do you know what it is? That none of those things I'm that good at, but I think I should break into it and give up my day 9 to 5 to do. I think my design ability is up there. I could make hundreds of different products. I don't have the capital to do that at the minute.
Yeah.
So I don't design shitloads of products myself and manufacture it. Otherwise, I would take that thing that I'm really good at and move forward with it. The other things, they're all things I can do. So my advice to you is pick something you're good at, or you have the potential and the patience to get good at. Stick with that one thing. There's so many people that make amazing hardware and then release shit juices, or they make amazing juices and release shit hardware. It's very seldom do you find a company that makes amazing juices, does awesome hardware, has amazing customer service. Do you know what I mean? Because nobody is amazing at everything.
No,
yeah. Go on. Sorry, Craig.
No, sorry, I'm going on again here, but
it's really about trying.
Passion for what
It's good that Craig knows where he stands.
Have a fucking go. You know what I mean? And I mean, I just had a bash. You know? Sometimes people will like what you do. Other times people will think it's fucking bollocks. But I mean, just have a fucking go.
But this is the thing, like Craig, if you looked at a mod you'd made and thought that's not safe, would you sell it?
Would I fuck?
If you looked at a mod and thought that doesn't look very good, would you sell it?
Would I fuck?
And that's the point. You know that what you make looks good, is safe, and works well.
Yeah, so, absolutely. You've got a very valid point there. I mean,
have you tried mixing juice?
If you're not happy with it yourself, you can't expect other people to be happy with it.
Have you tried mixing juice before?
I mix my own juice and stuff and sometimes it's been a delight. Sometimes it's been an absolute fucking disaster.
Have you made enough juices that you would feel comfortable investing a capital and releasing a juice line?
Not even in the slightest.
Do you see what I mean? So he's finding his strength.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is it shouldn't stop you having a go.
Oh no, absolutely, because you're never going to know.
I think the other thing that you have to be aware of as well is like your skill doesn't necessarily have to be practical. Okay. For example, my company makes a mod, an RDA, 5 juices, and a small line of clothing. Okay. My brother has experience in fashion design, so he designed the clothing and he designed the logo that went on it because he also has a lot of experience in graphic design. Me and Chris worked together on the mod and the RDA design. and the RDA was manufactured by a third party, the mod and the RDA were manufactured by a third party, I found the very best home brewer I know and worked with him to design my juice line, and then that's manufactured by a third party. My skill is in networking with people and coming up with ideas. That's what I'm good at. I'm not good at making mods. I'm good at vaping them. I'm not good at making RDAs, but I know if they give good flavor, I know if they're easy to build on. You know, if your skills turn out to all be in your head, it doesn't mean you've got nothing to bring to the table.
No, it's finding that niche. You know, it's finding that little thing that you are good at, but without having a go.
No, absolutely. That's why I say try everything. That's why I bought a 3D printer. I was making juice. I've designed I did all of those things to find out what I was good at.
But take it from a hobbyist point of view. So buy yourself a cheap lathe, for example, or buy yourself a cheap 3D printer and practice and see what you are good at. But take it from a hobbyist point of view. Don't look at, I'm going to quit work tomorrow.
God, no.
No, God, no! Don't do that.
Hard enough.
I can vouch for that one.
The thing is
You'll be fucking broke before you know it.
I listen to what some of the spends of what you guys have got, and other than #free shit, some of that stuff is so far out of my realm. But I don't consider myself a low earner. I said I can earn enough, and you know my missus is not a bad earner, but
your priorities are elsewhere. You used to buy.
Yeah, I vape because I enjoy it. I give stuff that potentially has cost me money to someone for free to help them quit because of what it did for me. That's one side of it. But you were going back to the 3D printing stuff, right? I got this boxer. It was in a raffle. I won it in a raffle. I wouldn't buy this. I couldn't afford to spend, what was it, $249? I think even UK is $230 odd. I could not afford to buy a triple 250 DNA in my budget unless I saved, unless I knew, right, can't buy nothing for a while and then I'll buy that. If I get it and it's only in, how do you put it? If you got your daily beaters and you got your stuff that you keep by, that mod, because I want it in raffle, I'm never going to be out. It's been used 4 times, maybe 5 times, and that people will go, "That's crazy. Why are you using? Why are you not using a really expensive mod every day?" Because I almost want to keep it in a good nick. Now, some of the mods that I see some of the other guys rocking with, damn, if I could afford it, I would. And like you said, my priorities are bills, life, general, get on with it, and then what I've got left over, hopefully enough to buy myself something nice to keep going. I'm not at the stage where I'm, I don't even think if I was earning enough, I'd be buying anything over like £200 or £300 as a max, as a limit.
Yeah, but you shouldn't feel under pressure to do that.
No, I don't. Trust me.
Jareen is, I mean, I've got high-end stuff. Jareen, generally, it doesn't leave the house. I mean, I take the stuff I take to work and stuff. Occasionally, I'll take a nice mod to work, but generally, the high-end stuff stays in the house, and my beaters, they're for work. But
when
again,
you take something expensive to work, do you worry about it? Do you sort of take that little bit of extra care in the worry?
Of course I do. Of course I do. Jareen is, it goes in a little pouch.
Don't touch it.
I know exactly what you mean. I've been taking this to work.
This is my daily runner at the moment.
Yeah, I've been taking this to work, and do you know what I've just done? I've just bought a noisy cricket, and this is going to be staying at home, and I'll be taking the This will be. I'll use this at home, but the noisy cricket will go to work.
Oh, guys, you're kidding me! Stop it.
This is crazy for a V1 noisy cricket.
This is the thing. Like, I bought this billet box. I've had loads of them. I've had probably 8. I've just decided that I don't need 8 billet boxes. I only use one, and I use it all day, every day.
Yeah.
So I've had this billet box, God knows, a few months, a good 6-8 months now. And I keep it in a leather case. I use it all day, every day. I chuck it in my pocket with keys and all sorts of shit that could potentially scratch the exposed side. But it's all I use. I use it all day, every day. And I bought panels with my own logo and my own company logo on it. And I took them off because it wouldn't fit in the case with them on. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want the box to get damaged. But this is what I'm saying. I've been fortunate enough to be in a position where I can waste money on a lathe to see if I'm good with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is why I asked what you felt you were good at already. Because if you're going to invest 300, 400, 500, 600 quid in something to test the waters, you're probably better off going with something you know you could use. Do you know what I mean? I didn't have a clue whether I could use a 3D printer until I got one. I didn't know if I could use a lathe until I got one. But I've got common sense. I've worked with metal before. I've done a lot of like architectural metalwork engineering, but I've never used a lathe. But I knew that I would be able to use it, so it wasn't a complete waste of time.
I'll put it to you this way: in the time that you used a 3D printer and in the time that you used a lathe, did you consider it fun or work? Was it you were trying to do something to see if you were good at it to produce, or did you actually want to? Like, I potentially would buy a lathe just to make myself some decent drip tips that fit what I want it to and be pretty and match.
That's why I got them, to do stuff for myself. Yeah. The 3D printer, I was going to make myself a couple of mods. The lathe, I was going to make myself a couple of drip tips with.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it to use it for anything else. The 3D printer, it didn't actually make me any money until the torque bar came out. When the torque bar came out and I started printing these spinners, no one else was doing it.
Right.
I mean, it was me and a friend that took the idea of the torque bar and made loads of different designs. And we were using skate bearings and selling them online for 20, 30 quid each. But they were taking an hour to make one. And it was costing 12 quid for the bearing. And then 3 other bearings cost 4 quid. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't making a mass amount of money. But that fidget spinner craze, I paid for that printer 12 times over.
Really?
That was in the space of 2 months. I took like 40 fidget spinners to Expo in October 2016, maybe. And I sold 40 of them in the first 3 hours.
Jesus. It's covering the cost. I mean, I wouldn't even charge. I'd probably charge material price. If it was someone said to me, look, I've got this. Can you make a tip for it? At the beginning is your part of your learning. If you make a good tip, you're like, sweet. But if you don't, you just go, well.
The thing is, when you get good at something and it becomes in demand, people are messaging you, asking you for it. Not a mate popping around seeing yours and saying, that's nice, make me one. When someone you don't particularly know says, that looks really nice, would you make me one? Then he tells his mate and he wants you to make you one. And you're making 3, 4, 5 of them and you realise that it's cost you 60, 80, 90, 100 quid. Then you'd start saying, well, actually, guys, I need to charge, but I'll charge X. But the thing is, you wouldn't get that demand unless people knew that what you were making was good.
Yeah.
I mean, the first few that you made, Craig, they were just for yourself, I presume.
Yeah, I mean, I made them because I wanted something different, and then I checked them on social media. I checked them on a couple of the vaping groups, and people went, "Oh, fuck me, that's cool." And then, but you get some different reactions, like, because I mean, you put them up and say, "Oh, how much for one of them?" And you'll say, "Oh, well, it's this much because that's how many hours you put into it." And people go, "Fuck me, I ain't paying that." And I say, "Well, how much do you work for an hour, mate?" You mean? Yeah. It's identifying your market. It's if someone really wants one, they'll pay for it. If someone appreciates the amount of hours that have gone into it, they'll pay for it. It's a weird fucking market, vaping. It really is.
It's a bit like when you mentioned Nigel earlier. Right? I'm on the SV list. Well, not list yet. I'm having a look, and he does some amazing work. And you expect what he charges is what you would pay for that sort of product. And it's the same as you see the hard work that's gone in by someone. You don't mind forking a little bit more than you would usually to have that product. But is it to have the product to say, you know, I've got one of these and they're exclusive? It's a bit like the Haku. I don't get the Haku. Hold my hands up. I don't get why you join a group, you know, put yourself onto a group. And I mean, that's probably how you get the stuff that one day maybe I might go for. But I don't see it in the way that the market is at the moment. There's enough on there that we... I mean, I'm not... You know, the B2K, for example, everyone's raving about the B2K at the moment. It's sort of, it will change next month. It will be something else that's a single that's not far different from the two, probably amalgamated, and it will be on a list somewhere that someone's making it. But I mean, it's not knocking the high-end buyers. The high-end buyers buy it because they want that product. But it's that difficulty of matching that up against something else that's on the market. Is it better? Is it worth that 60, 80, £100 more than what you'd pay for something similar?
The thing is,
I've got SVBF there with a Wasp Nano on.
Nice.
Hmm?
I've got two of them recently. I love them.
With a £15 fucking Atty on top.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Do you know what I mean? You can't. And yet, I've got a B2K there, which is not an expensive fucking Atty. Let's be honest. What was it, 65 quid with 4 different caps or 3 or 4 different caps and different fucking bits and pieces with it.
Craig, make sure you give Chandler his drip tip back.
What? That's no near long enough for fucking one channel. But again, its price per performance, I think, has come down a lot. I mean, the difference between a £120 Atty and a fucking £20 Atty, the lines are fucking blurred a lot.
Guys, go back.
12, 18 months, like, do you mean?
Go back 5 years ago, go back 4 years ago, go back 3 years ago, and you look at the stuff, the prices back then to what we're paying now.
If you're looking at I wanted a Tayfun GT. They were 175 quid when they first came out.
Chandler's only just discovering that market now.
Yeah, I am.
If they re-released like the Tayfun now, and they just copied it exactly, do you think the price would be anywhere near that?
Well, the thing was, that was exactly what happened at the time. China cloned them, and you were looking at 20, 30 quid for a decent. That was when Hot Sig were cloning. So that was effectively what happened.
It was the same, almost.
It was effectively.
Realistically, everyone takes their journey through cheap, nasty clones to, genuine gear eventually. Whether it's something from your local shop or whether it's,
Actually, it's good for people to have a dabble in that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I started out with clones. I bought fucking hundreds of them. Then
I've had clones. I haven't got any now, but I mean, I did buy 1 or 2.
Yes,
look at that. I mean, look at that. And that is a $550 mod.
Yeah, we get it, Craig.
£120 back. Yeah, but I didn't pay that for it. And I paid, 150 quid for the fucking mod and 60 quid for the Atty second hand. And you don't need to buy clones. You can buy fucking quality fucking gear at second hand fucking prices.
Yeah.
The difference is the mass market, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean we're not the people that these things are aimed at. Do you mean?
Yeah, the Wasp Nano. How many of them have they made? They made. Here you go. We're making of them.
The first thing
it's a fucking Atty.
It is. I mean, Wasp Nano.
Yeah.
What fucking drip tip you got on there?
That's my drip tip. There you go.
Do you know what the thing is with these Atties, and the reason that I think they're amazing for the price and everything, so on and so forth, e-liquid testers. This shit does give you true flavour because you get a load of liquid with it. You get a really saturated vape. You get it as saturated as it's going to be. So you're almost going to taste the juice that you're making, and you'll pick up the bottom, the middle, and the end. And even you just stick it on different Atties. So cranking it up. This is like 22 gauge stainless. It's a 0.2, and I'm running it on obviously mech style at the moment. I stick it on something else and I'll crank up a little bit higher than what would be even the max to just see if I can get anything off the top. And it for me, when I'm doing liquid, if I didn't have one of these, I'd be screwed. That you stick it on a dual coil, it tastes nothing like this. You stick it on, I use Cleto coils, and that for sub-ohm is my tester. I have a different tester for each style. And that's just me with when I make liquid. I want to, if I give in a bottle to a friend, What do you use? I use sub-ohm, right? Okay, so I know what you're going to be hitting. I know where I need to make the liquid. If I'm making something from mouth to lung, the high nick, so something that's quite throaty, I'll add more concentrate because I know it won't pick up bass. So I'll go for the top notes rather than the bottom notes, and that's just something I've learned from mucking around with liquid. And someone who I know whose sub-ohm's heavy and is like on the low as it can go, as high watt as it can go, I'll up the VG than I would usually. I'll add more of the bottom rather than the high note because the high notes, I don't know, it's there, but it's never going to be front. And that's why, I think the Wasp gives you a true sort of, I don't know, real flavour.
That's what I used to like about James Seward's juice reviews. He'd start at 1 wattage and then go up 10 watts, go up another 10 watts, and the flavour profile would change depending on on what how much you were putting through it. Do you mean?
Candies and MTLs are so different to if you're hitting them on something heavy and hard.
Yeah.
They're just completely different. And it's the same with backos. And I mean, I love my backos when I'm going out for a beer. And if I have it on an MTL, if I don't have enough tobacco in the concentrate, so I'll up the recipe even. I don't know. I'll get enough. I don't know. It's weird. I've been mucking around recently. That's my latest trend is trying to get my liquid on point. I don't want to spend any more money on commercial.
See, I think everyone takes a journey through what they buy and when they buy it. I mean, can you guys remember what the first bit of kit you bought that you considered high end?
That I considered high end?
Yeah.
Never.
Well, I mean, when I bought my first Manhattan V2, I considered it high end. I spent 280 quid on a full setup, and I thought that was high end as fuck at the time.
What's the Predator? Still here somewhere.
Most expensive mod. Well, the first thing I bought that I considered high end was a Cloudport T8. It cost me 114 quid, and I thought that was fucking expensive. Do you know? Before that, I had a Hannah clone with a Aspire Nautilus Mini on it. And I bought this fucking 80 watt Cloudport T8 or 120 watt, whatever it is. And I thought that was high end. And it was only when I saw stuff like, well, the Caravellas at the time were going for stupid money. But talking now, when you see stuff like the Frankie flipping for the money it flips for, I'm thinking, that is insane. Like, I've said many times, I was told that Osrics were Expo, and I've been dying to get a half mod. I was dying to get a half mod from August last year, and I heard that they were at this show, and someone was like, "Are you going to come get to the stand first, and we'll get one?" I says, "No." So I'm not going to fight 50 fucking ratty teenagers to get one. I'd rather get one at a later date. Whether it costs me a little bit more or costs me a little bit less, it doesn't matter. I'm not fighting people to get it. And I've had 4 half mods since then. Do you know what I mean? Because I waited, and I waited for the one I wanted. And I've got the most beautiful half mod, in my opinion, that he's ever made. And that's because...
It's been beat now, hasn't it?
No, it hasn't.
Yeah, it's been beat now. That Black Pearl, come on, don't pretend like that Black Pearl's not nicer than yours.
I don't think it's better.
Don't fuck about.
So anyway, yeah, my mate got that half mod, and I says to him before it even arrived with him, I says, "Dibs, I want that." And he actually messaged me and said, "I'm selling it." He says, "I'll have it." And I think it's the most beautiful mod I've ever seen. I paid less than retail for it, and if I was an arsehole, I could flip that. I could get a lot more money for it than it cost me, a lot more money than it's worth.
Then you should be shot.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, out of who I am, I don't believe in this whole...
Chris, sorry to interrupt you, right? The group where I've won a couple of these raffles, and I've got obviously the boxer mod, I've got a Sigelli and so on and so forth. They deleted a couple of people because what they were winning on raffles, they were selling on. And yeah, like I said about the boxer, 4 times used. I'm never going to sell that. That's not getting sold. If someone could offer me more than it's probably worth on the website, I'm probably not going to sell it because of the
see, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's fair. You spent the money. The cost of that mod was the cost of that mod was covered by the people that entered that raffle.
Yeah.
To sell it for less than retail price is fine. I've got no issues with that at all.
If it was given to you, then you shouldn't join. But to flip it is fucking wrong. If you won it in a raffle, that's your fucking mod.
Yeah.
You shouldn't sell it for more than retail. But it's, do you mean if you want to sell it, that's up to you, man. You should.
you feel bad about it.
For example, I wish I could have afforded to buy that outright, but I couldn't, and I won that on Herbie does those raffles.
Waffles.
The waffles. There you go. He does the waffles where you buy a £10 ticket. He has 220 20 places, and I was fortunate enough to win it. But yeah, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to say I never will, but if I do, I know that I can message Herbie and say, "Do you mind if I stick that in the group?" And he'll be more than happy to let me do that.
If you're feeling bad about it, I'll give you 25 quid for it.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Yeah.
Talking to Brad actually, but that applies to you.
But I think you were saying earlier about not being able to afford these high end mods. There are mod makers like Herbie that do these waffles, and I think they are a genius idea because I can afford to lose 10 quid now and again. Yeah. When you do drop lucky, and you will do,
he's raffling it for the cost of the mod. Though.
Yes.
Yeah. He's not raffling it with spaces, or he's not giving 20 people a chance, like doing a raffle for 20 people at 10 quid a ticket, and then doing 20 raffles, and the winner of those 20 then gets the right to buy a mod. The last mod that he waffled off was absolutely gorgeous, and he could have sold 50, 70, 100 tickets. But he didn't. He went, that's the number of tickets I'm out. Once they've gone, and all those tickets went in about 4 minutes.
That's how much the mod costs, and that's the number of tickets he sells.
Bang! That's how much I'm charging for it. That's how much the ticket sells. He could have gone for, like I say, 50, 60, 70 tickets.
Yeah, but he's not a cunt.
He's not. Absolutely not.
Can I just ask? Does he give people the opportunity to just buy all the tickets?
Actually, one person did buy. There was 23 tickets, I think, available. Somebody bought 14.
Did they win?
But that's their choice.
Yeah, actually, did.
I'd be pissed. Like, for taking 140 quid gamble, you might as well take their 230 quid payment.
And I suppose somebody has got the right to go, I want all 23 tickets, please, and guarantee the win. And effectively, you're buying the mod. But
I mean, knowing my luck, I'd buy 22 tickets and still lose the cunt. I like your pussy, Craig.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very nice.
Do you really have to just sit there and play with your pussy while we're live?
Listen, we do not have members of Metallica arguing, right?
Sorry.
Cannot fall out.
Yeah, guys, come on! You've all seen this anger documentary. We'll have to get a performance coach in.
Fall out of the guitarist. I want a Frankie.
Hey, back off! This is mine.
I don't. I'd rather have the clap.
Easy. I do.
I think I may have strayed the conversation. Is there anything that was on the plan for this evening that needs to be mentioned or answered from a sort
Absolutely not.
Majorly consumer?
You heard this guy talking about plans.
Structured show. Fuck
then
off.
In which case, let me just quickly throw this in. Mark, your custard. Where and when and how and what? I know because I asked ages ago about how many concentrates. Only because of the DIY thing, I was like, well, okay, well, let's. It's one concentrates, 8% sweetener. You'll love it. But all right. But when you said it's got a bit more, if it's got a body, it's going to have 7 flavors. It's going to have a bit of depth to it. When and where? How?
I've got a gallon of Capella custard if you want it. It's been sitting outside my shed.
V1 or V2?
Yeah.
I know what Mark means when he says one concentrate, and he doesn't mean what you think he means.
No, I've genuinely got a gallon of Capella custard that's been sitting outside my shed for over a year. If you want it,
It might be well steeped.
it's gone through a few elements. No, there's been a bit of sun, a bit of rain, and a bit of snow on it. But
We can say about your concentrates, can't we, Mark?
Hmm?
There's nothing that we can't say about your concentrates, Mark.
What?
Oh, in the sense of why it would be one concentrate and completely unimitable.
No, custard's not.
Oh, is it not?
No,
Ah, interesting.
no, the custard's not along that route. But
it takes a lot longer to make the custard because he's got to wait for the build before he scrapes it off and adds the milk.
Brad, do me a favour.
Go on.
Send me a PM after the show. I'll send you a bottle.
Dude, lovely. Thank you very much. That will help me to try and pick apart your recipe. No, I'm joking.
Hashtag free shit.
Honestly, I swear to you, you will not.
No, you won't.
No, do you know what? Sometimes you can. I've tried it, and I've tried literally pulling apart recipes, and you get 50 to 60% of the way, and you go, "Fuck it, I'll throw this in and see how this tastes." No, that's not it.
The best juice cloner in the world couldn't do it.
No, yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe you were saying earlier about breaking into the industry and stuff. It's the liquid side of it is I find interesting because I've helped a lot of people in the description. So I was speaking to someone the other day, and like I said, right, imagine your bottle's a big bottle of rainbows. You don't shake it, you don't steep it. It's the rainbow's going to say separate colours. And he went, oh. So I was like, yeah, you got to turn it all into one colour. So you shake or mix the shit out of it, and then it will all blend. Otherwise, you're just going to have rainbows. And he was like, you know, it's simple DIY, but this guy, just bless him, just put it all in, shut the lid, and just leave it on the side. I was like, that's not going to do anything. You're just going to have flavour at the top. And
this is why you always put your finger over it when you first shake a nick shot. Otherwise, all the nicotine goes straight into the fucking nib.
Yeah.
The rest of it, and you put your nick straight onto your flipper.
And then you go to taste it, and then you listen, like, oh, I'll just lick it.
And I haven't done that before.
I done it with 72 milligrams by mistake. I think I was doing 8 bottles, and it got to the 7th one. I was like, I'm sure I'm shaking that. It was the same thing. Little bit of 72 nick straight in the top, straight on the tongue. My face just did literally a dance. It was, yeah.
I tend to shake juice for a couple of minutes and stick it in a lathe and whack it on fucking full.
Yeah.
Well, I've got use out of that lathe.
I tell you what, you know, back in school, and I may be ruining something here. No, back in school, you got so imagine a drill bit on a circle, and the circle's egg shaped. So, what the hell?
Oval.
There you go. So that you'd have a straight arm, and on the straight arm, the oval would flick the arm up and down. So attach a bottle to the top of the spike. You spin the drill, what makes the oval spin. Is that not just a DIY mixing tool? Am I wrong?
Hey, you should have seen me making pancakes earlier, don't you?
Yeah, he had a fork in the end of his drill.
I stuck a fork in the end of my drill because I didn't have a whisk.
Did you bend the forks in opposite directions?
I just stuck the fork went up like that, and then it curved around like that.
The real question here is, though, are we more impressed by Chris's inventiveness in doing that, or in the fact that he can be 28 years old, own multiple children, but not own a whisk?
I'm 27, mate.
Time's
I
ticking.
don't own multiple children. I didn't do a Madonna and go and buy it.
What fucking stats do? I see different ones every time you're on camera.
It's because I work in a
It's up where you are, isn't that really easy?
Huh?
Is it up where you are really easy to do that if you really want them?
What? Buy kids?
You can nick anything up there. No one cares.
You can pick up children everywhere up there.
I mean, I suppose if you've got the van and the right suite, you can pick up a kid anywhere.
This is going to be a fucking tangent, isn't it?
Don't do it up here, mate. It gets you arrested.
Right,
down south, it's fine.
Right, and boys, I think we're about there. It's about 10:30.
Yeah, I'm freezing my bollocks off. My phone died about an hour and a half ago.
Oh, your fucking heater, will you?
I'm ready for bed.
Got a heater. It heats one side of me like a turkey.
Turn around.
Like a kebab spit that's stuck.
So I'd like to thank Brad for joining us,
Welcome.
and also Craig for his. Craig, didn't you get Viewer of the Year award?
No, I got nominated and no fucking votes.
Okay.
It was nice to be nominated. Cheers, bud.
I got Presenter of the Year award.
Yeah, don't mean anything.
Did you print yourself something? You got
Right,
fucking
anyway.
print yourself something.
I was actually going to say I think I've been quite helpful tonight.
Be good.
First time for everything.
Well, it's good that somebody thinks that about you, Chris.
Even if
Fucking pleasure, gentlemen. Cheers.
That's been cracking. Thank you very much for joining us. Episode 137. So you want to be a vape superstar?
Fuck no.
No, me neither. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll catch you next week for more bullshit and shenanigans.
Have I got to do this shit now?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.